Hey everyone, this is Papo Morales. I'm joining you today to cover Form to Win. So the first thing, if you haven't done so already, go to formtowin.com on your PC. You can download the app there, or if you have an iPhone or Samsung or whatever you use, just go to your Play Store or your iPhone store, and you can download the app. It's free. You do get 2 free races a day once you create an account. And to create an account, all you have to do is put in an email and create a password, and that will give you access to 2 free races a day, as well as historical data, the last 2 days of races, so you can play around with the app and see if you would have found the winner just using the digital PPs that we've developed. So as a refresher, when you log in, you're just going to see this screen, and it takes a couple minutes to load just because we're loading the results from the last 2 days as well as today's entries and tomorrow's. So that takes a minute or two to load, but once it's loaded, it's all there. And then, so we'll go into, here I'll click on Thursday, and we'll start looking at some historical races, or some races that went off early today, to see if we can find the winner. So I have a peak interest in Keeneland, for obvious reasons, being here in Kentucky. But so I just click on this race, and you can see that Form to Win is telling you the 5 horse here won. We color code the placings. So first is always red, second is always green, third is always yellow, or some people may think that's orange, and then fourth is blue. Anything other than that is color coded as brown. But you can see the results, and then you can click Analyze. And this was a maiden race, so we didn't have much data. Obviously, you don't have any starts. Form to Win doesn't have much data on the races, so this was a 4.5 furlong maiden race. So you would have just had to lean on pedigree or trainer percentage, sire or dam percentage if they fire first time out. But without any data, obviously Form to Win won't be able to help you because it is a data-driven app. So let's go to race 2 and click on comparator, and you can see here that these totals. These are total races or total starts per horse. And the first thing that you want to do, a quick way to analyze this, is click on this little drop-down box, go to distance, and then click, instead of summary, click on packed. As you can see here, so you can right away, you see red. Obviously you want to see more reds than anything. That's first. So this just gives you a quick summary of how the horses have performed in this race, with their last race being over here in the margin on the left hand side. So this horse won last time out, then it looks like he had a 36-day rest, and this horse won going 6.5 furlongs. That little speed figure you see up there, that's the Equibase speed figure in that race. So he won. He had a 90 speed figure going 6.5. So that's just a quick summary. Kind of look at stuff. I mean, obviously, if you click on this and you don't see any reds or greens, maybe don't want to look at that horse. Not saying that he won't win, but if you're trying to make decisions quickly, given the parameters, it's an easy way to start eliminating horses that obviously do not like to win. But that's just a summary. The power of the app is actually when we start getting to the analytics. So if we click on Analyze, and you're going to notice several columns up here. You have the horse, the post position, the odds, the best Form to Win time, the average Form to Win time, the worst Form to Win time, average Equibase speed figure, best Equibase speed figure, worst Equibase speed figure, total starts, the foal date, which if you're looking at, lightly raced 3-year-olds or even 2-year-olds, sometimes horses that are born earlier in the year have an advantage just because they're just more developed earlier in the year than others. The average weight carried, the differential in weight between this race and the last. So that's a lot of information. You can look at it all, but you'll just have to get a comfort level on what you really want to see. So I will go in, if you click this little tab down here, you can eliminate data that you don't want to see. So I'm going to take out a lot. All I'm really looking for is the average Form to Win time, which I think is the strongest Really, this probably the single best tool on this app is the form to win time that we worked on and developed, which is purely based off speed and how horses finished. And so we calculate speed based off their finish, based off the winner. So if a horse came in third, we take how many lengths back they were from the horse that won, and then we actually assign a figure to them. And so that's how we come up with our form to win time. But just without any filters, just going off average form to win time, in this particular race 2 today at Keeneland, these were the top 3 horses without any handicapping, just purely ranked by form to win. But if you create a filter, which is really how you kind of drill down the data, this particular race, and you can click on the race information here, and I'm actually going to slide myself off screen here so you can see the filters. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so if you click on this tab here, you get the race information. So this race is going 5.5 furlongs on the turf. We're at Keeneland. If you click on this filter box right here, any races between, like, this is where you're just going to have to play around with the app and find your angles. And I did have a question on that about how I set my distances. So for 5 furlong races and 5.5 furlong races, when I really try to drill down the information, I always look at races. I'll set my filter at between 5 furlongs. This is the furlong. This is what we're using for distance, 5 to 5.5. I mean, you could use 6 if you wanted to, but 6 furlong horses to me are a little bit different animal than a 5 furlong horse or a 5.5. So I really like to drill it down to 5.5. And then finish position, you can click on to see where they finished at that distance. To me, it's of no concern. Beaten lengths, margin, I really not drilling down that information. Track condition, this race is on turf. So obviously I want all turf races. And then I believe the turf at Keeneland's good today, because we have had some rain here in Kentucky. But right now I'll just use all turf. But if you wanted to just click off firm or hard and only look at races that were on good, soft, or yielding, you could easily do it. And that's really important, especially when races, when you get weather that's coming in throughout the day and you've suddenly got to look how horses ran on turf courses that were, either yielding or had plenty of give to them. You can do that with just, clicking off the firm and off the hard, and then you'll see every horse, how they performed, or even if they had run on a turf would give to it. But right now I'm just going to click all turf and then hit apply. So using that filter, Oceanic won for the Jordan Blair Stables, and Form to Win liked him using that filter, just looking at races between 5 and 5.5. I mean, he wasn't the favorite, so that's good. Favorite went off at a little over 2 to 1, and he had no data. Looks like we had no data on him on races between 5 and 5.5. So I don't know if he was racing at 6 furlongs or he was cutting back. Actually, let me check that now. Let's see. The favorite, the favorite was racing at 6 panels, and he was cutting back to 5.5. That's why I really like, especially looking at these 5 and 5.5 furlong races, why I really like to drill down the information. It's just an angle that I like, that I only want to look at races that were between 5 and 5.5. So once I applied that filter, Form to Win liked Oceanic, and he liked Ready to Answer. Those are the top 2 horses by average Form to Win time, and that was the exacta. So didn't look at anything else, didn't look at pace in the race, which a lot of times if there's lone speed, that horse can probably get loose on the lead and may try to wire. But just strictly going off just the raw data and using that information, you would have had that winner in race 2 today at Keeneland, which is pretty good. So that's how I really try to drill down the information. Let's go to race 3, maiden special weight. Once again, we're we're not going to have much data on these horses. Yeah, like we have one horse that had a start, but no data to work with. This was a 6 furlong claiming race on the dirt with plenty of starts. The winner went off at 12-1 without any filters. He was third ranked on Form to Win. He was second ranked on the best Form to Win time without any filters. And I don't know if I drill down this information. Let me see. Let's see how these horses were running. So the winner was cutting back from 8 furlongs coming out of his last race. So we kind of have a hodgepodge of horses running at different distances here. We have some horses cutting back from 8 furlongs, some horses that have been running at 6 or 6.5. So if you were going to create a filter, you're kind of just testing the waters here, because most of these horses have been running at much different distances. So I wouldn't even know. I mean, most of the time on a 6 furlong race, I'll look at races between 6 and 6.5. But since these horses were, we had horses cutting back, horses that were running at 6, horses that were running at 8 and 8.5, especially in a claiming race, I don't know if I would have created a filter. Maybe I would have just tried to get by with using the average Form to Win and best. And so you could have possibly had the horse. I mean, Form to Win had him ranked third on average and second on best. But those claiming races, who knows what happens sometimes. But Form to Win had him in the top 3, at least without any filters. The race 5 at Keeneland today. Let's see. The conditions of this race were 8.5 furlongs on the turf. Let's see if we could have found this winner. Without any filters, Form to Win had him ranked 4th midnight tee time, still 4th on best. So for 8.5 furlongs on the turf, I usually look at races between 8 and 8.5, so a mile and a 1/16. Track condition right now, I'll do all turf, but I will also look at turf that has some give to it to see if that makes a difference, because they are running on good turf today at Keeneland. So once I create this filter, 8 furlongs to 8.5, a mile to a 1/16, track condition, all turf. Well, he had the best Form to Win time, midnight tee time didn't really fit on average. Okay, average Equibase, he was third. He had the best time, and now let me see, since they are running on turf that has some give to it. No, well, he has the winner midnight tee time didn't have any races. Whenever you see these blanks here, that means we have no data for them. So no proven data on turf with give to it. So I don't know if you would have found midnight tee time. I mean, you may have found he was third ranked on Equibase, and he had the best performance on Form to Win time. I really wish that average would have been a little bit better. Let me see if I only look at races at today's distance. He was third on best and 4th on average. And let's see how he did his last race. He had a 97 Equibase speed figure, finished third. If you click on the race, it gives you the race details. So this was at Fairgrounds. Finished third, going 8 on firm turf. So it looks like he had this, no. Sometimes I look at the average Equibase speed figure, or excuse me, the Equibase speed figure from the last race to see if maybe he had the top, but he didn't. We had horses that ran faster, so that would not have helped you. But if you use the best, and we'll go back and look at all turf. So 8, 8.5, all turf. You may have landed on him. I probably wouldn't have. I really lean on the average form to win time. I will factor in the best, especially if you're playing Hong Kong, because if you find horses that are in the top 3 in average form to win and also the best, especially on the Hong Kong product, it's a good angle to use. Let's see, we got the next race. This is a maiden. I know this is a maiden claiming, so I don't know if we would have had. Yeah, just light starts here too. But let's go see if we've got a live race here. So this race is going off in 6 minutes. We are on the turf, 5.5 furlongs. Make sure we got plenty of data to work with. We do. 10 starts, 10, 6, 10, 6. Okay, so without any filters, form to win likes the 4 a little bit. Smart Remark, who's a price, but I'm really going to try to drill down this information. So I'm going to look at races. Once again, my angle for 5 to 5.5 furlongs on the turf. I'll use this filter, 5 to 5.5. Track condition, right now I'm going to use all turf, but I am going to go back and look at only good, soft, and yielding a bit here too. Okay, so looking at races only between 5 furlongs and 5.5. Form to win likes the 1, Edgemont Road, who's currently 5 to 1. Another Miracle, who's 12 to 1. And once again, Smart Remark, who's 12 to 1. He fits, given those parameters, and he fit without any filters built in. So he's a horse that I would, keep an eye on. Maybe if you were building exotic tickets, low in the try, include him in the try, or maybe even the exactor. Heck, he could maybe even win this. But let's see if we have any dual qualifiers. And by dual qualifiers, I mean horses that at this given distance are in the top 3 in average equibase and average form to win. So the only one that was Smart Remark. So that horse would grab my attention. Just given how form to win is grading him. And then now I'm going to look at today's turf condition. So I'm going to click off firm and hard turf and only look at races that have been, these horses, how they performed on good, yielding, or soft. I hit apply. And Smart Remark fits with Maven, who's the favorite. So I'm going to do a little sim bet here. If you click on this calculator, you've got a bank here. You start with 50,000 of sim bet money, fake money. But it tells you if you were to spend, you just type in how much you want to spend here. So this is a $100 stake. If I do 50 and just hit enter, it changes my wagers. This is called Dutching. We have this built in to form to win. It's also built into AmWager on our platform. We have Dutching built in that you can use on exactas, doubles, also the win bet. Right now, Form to Win only has the win bet option to look at, but we are in the next release that we're building now. We will have other wager types also. So if you wanted to make a sim bet, like a practice bet, using this $50, of the 50, you'd put $12 on the number 4 for a payout of roughly $144, and then you'd put $38 on the number 3 horse, Maven, who is the co-favorite right now, and it would pay you roughly $133. So by Dutching, what you're trying to do is get the maximum payout given your combination of 2 horses. So I'll just say create slips, and my sim bet goes in, and if you click the bet tab, you'll see this bet management tab. So this is a way that you can keep track of your sim bets and see how you're doing using the app. It's just a good way to practice, if you don't want to particularly play with live money, and if you're new to the game, it's a good way to practice and see how you would do getting used to the app. Now, we also, if you have an AmWager account, you will have the ability to bet, once you select your horses and you press place bet, you can actually send it to your AmWager account, and that will be live money. So that's something to be excited about, especially if you have an AmWager account. But right now, yeah, the 3-4, and this 4 is interesting. You know, proven form on turf. It has give to it. Was a dual qualifier. So smart remark. And let me see what his current odds are. He was on the. I was looking at morning line. Oh, it's even better. So when you go in, when you log in the first time to Form to Win, if you click Summary, you're always going to have the morning line odds. Those are the Equibase odds. Those are morning line. Now, if we have live odds on them, we meaning AmWager, if it's a track that we take, you can look at the live odds. So you just go to Summary, click on the Equibase, click on the AmWager, and you have the live odds for this particular race. So right now, Smart Remark is, you know, over 21 to 1. Maven is a little over 4 to 1. So I would play around with that 4 horse with live money. You know, try to fit him in somewhere on your tickets. But he's interesting, and that race has a minute to go. So you can see relatively quickly. I mean, I was explaining stuff, so it took a little longer, but that could have taken you less than 90 seconds to just create a quick filter and analyze the race, and then just whatever the turf condition is. I mean, if it's firm, then go ahead and look at all of them. But when it's anything less than firm and it's rated good, yielding, or soft, go ahead and apply that data, so you can really drill down the information. So we're hoping, at least I'm hoping, Smart Remark runs decent here, because I've talked about him enough. Let's see. Oh, we got Giroux. Okay, we'll take that. I guess the only problem you can say with this horse is the last 10 starts he hasn't won. He's at 2 seconds. But given the conditions for Vicky Oliver, worth a couple bucks, or at least fitting him in there somewhere on your tickets. I'm actually going to see. So my wager, I was going off morning line odds. So let me go to bets. And that race just went off. So let me see. I'm curious to see how this race grades out. Oh, it looks like they're loading in the gate now. I can't show that live, but I believe you can. Obviously you can pick up the stream on your ADW, or Keelan actually live streams their races on YouTube. So let's see. Okay, they just broke from the gate. I'm not going to call the race here, but looks like Maven's gone to the front. Where's our 4 horse? It's mid-pack. Okay. Just bear with me while I watch this race live. It looks like Maven's he may wire him. He went 21 inch, or almost 22 flat that first quarter of a mile. Come on, Smart Remark, get up there somewhere. Oh. No, it doesn't look like he's finishing that. So I'm going to go Maven's going to, the 2 horse. No, Maven's going to wire. So it's going to be 3-2. So Boulder, he finished second. We only had 1 race, given those 1 race on turf rated good. But the winner was ranked, was the second ranked on Form to Win. I was hoping we could get Smart Remark in there, but I don't think he hit the board. Kind of was finished mid-pack, but was an interesting play, especially since he fit, at least on Form to Win, given those parameters. But sometimes that's the way it is. That's racing. Race 6. Well, actually, you know what? We're going to change this up a little, because I want to look at, let's see. slide myself back in here. I want to look at some races for Keeneland tomorrow. I may play a little pick 3 or that late pick 3 or late pick 4. So let's go to Friday, Keeneland. Let's start in race 7 tomorrow at Keeneland. Okay, let's look at the race conditions. 6 furlongs on the dirt. It's an allowance race. I've got a decent amount of data set to work with. 6 starts. Well, 2's kind of light, but 5, 4, 7, 2, 3. So first thing we'll do is we'll sort it by distance and pack it. So I get a quick summary of how these horses are running. Obviously, red is great. Green is good. It's not as good as red. That's second. But let's really drill down this information. So without any filters, Form to Win likes the 10 and the 5. And that's funny because I actually looked at this race with the actual PPs. Let's see here. And I had marks on the 10 and the 5 for obvious reasons. But without, Form to Win likes them right off the top. But let's look at races. 6 furlongs on the dirt. So, but like I said, when you're building your filters, it's all going to be personal preference. For 6 furlong races, I like looking at races between 6 and 6.5. I think if you go to 7, you're really extending it too much. I don't think a 7 furlong horse is necessarily going to be so sharp at 6. Doesn't mean you can't win, but I really want to only look at races between 6 and 6.5. Track condition, I'm going to click all dirt, and then I'm going to hit apply. And I'm on live odds, so let me go to morning line odds. I switched it to Equibase, click summary, Equibase, and then you'll get back to the morning line odds. So right off the top, Form to Win like the 5, the Ride of a Lifetime, which I believe is for, no, I bet that horse before. Ignacio, yeah, Ignacio Flores. Last seen in the Iroquois at Churchill Downs. Going a mile, finished 4th but beat 9 lengths. But 2 back, he finished 2nd in the Saratoga Special to Jackie's Warrior. And actually, he finished 2nd to Jackie's Warrior in the maiden race. So, the class is there, at least who he's faced. And he fits on Form to Win, given what I'm looking at between 6 and 6.5. The horse that's interesting is the 9, Etched in Stone, who Form to Win has ranked 2nd. Now, full disclosure, we only have 1 race data set to go off, but the 9 horse for Larry Ravelli, Etched in Stone, you get Florent Giroux last time. Well, here, I'll pull it up for you. The 9, take off my filter. If you click this little filter button up here, so right now I'm only looking at races between 6 and 6.5, but if you want to look at their entire race career, just click on that and you can see everything. So the 9, last time out, looks like he won 1 1/8 miles, 9 furlongs. He finished 6th to Known Agenda, who is a legitimate Derby contender. At least I think so. But I've still got 3 weeks to figure that out. But, did not appreciate maybe the 2 turns. But if you go back before that, he won a 5 furlong race at Gulfstream, or no, finished 2nd at Gulfstream Park, going 5. Then won at Hawthorne, going 6. So going back to him, let me apply my filter again. 6 to 6.5. He's interesting, just off 1 body of work, and Larry Ravelli's a smart guy. 30% winner when he ships. You do get Giroux 10-1. So if you're playing the multis, you may want to include him on your tickets. And the horse that I liked, going off, the standard PPs that Form to Win moved down, was the 10 Wara for Mark Cassie. But really, his only race at between 6 and 6.5 was on the poly surface, artificial surface at Woodbine, or no, Tapeta, excuse me. They have the Tapeta at Woodbine. And he didn't run first time out at all, so I wouldn't downgrade him necessarily just because he doesn't fit. I mean, that was one race. I'm not going to hold it against him. But yeah, race 7 tomorrow at Keeneland. I'm interested definitely in the 5 and the 9, and I am going to use the 10 because the last time out here, if I take my filter off, last time out the 10 had a 101 Equibase speed figure going 5.5. Which was his first time on the main track. These races were on turf. This was turf. This was turf. And his maiden race is on Tapeta at Woodbine. So last time out, high figure. I'm going to obviously use the Cassie horse. Not necessarily a price, but for the multis, I will use those 3. So that's the Keeneland 7th tomorrow using Form to Win. Let me see if I didn't do the dual qualifier things. I should probably do that. So 596 average Equibase using our filter. Average 596. So hey, the 6 fits too on Form to Win. Maybe underneath in your exotics, medicine tail. But 5, 9, 10 for me tomorrow on the Keeneland 7th. The Keeneland 8th, 5.5 furlongs. On the turf, so without any filters, Form to Win kind of like Jade's Jelly. Oh, that's an interesting name. Or Jade's Gelly. I don't know how you pronounce that, but yeah, for Wesley Ward, who seems to be winning at a decent clip at Keeneland, and you get Johnny V in the saddle. So without any filters, Form to Win likes Jade's Gelly. I'm just going to go with Gelly. But let's do a filter and look at this race between 5 and 5.5, which is, my angle on these turf sprints, track condition, all turf. Form to Win likes Lexitonia. The number 10 horse for Christopher Clement, who came off almost a 1.5 year layoff last time out, ran at Gulfstream Park, finished 3rd on the turf. So lightly raced, only as you can see here on the comparator. Here, I'll show you. We'll do this. So the 10 horse, Lexitonia, who Form to Win likes, he broke his maiden first time out, but I believe this was on the main track at Saratoga. But a maiden at Saratoga, so that to me always, it's worth an extra mark. Then he had a little over a month before he ran back, and he ran back at Monmouth Park and didn't run too well. And then you had a huge layoff. Look, a 560-day layoff. Then he comes back and he finishes 3rd. So, second off the layoff, horse should be better. And Form to Win says that he fits, at least, using the filter that I applied, looking at races between 5 and 5.5. That Jade's Jelly or Gelly also fits on Form to Win. But the funny thing is, when I looked at the raw PPs, I didn't have a mark on that horse. I downgraded him somewhat because he was 1 for 9 for Wesley Ward, and usually Ward's horses win at a better clip than that. But Form to Win likes him, so I guess he's going to be worth using. Let's see if we have any dual qualifiers. So average Equibase between 5 and 5.5. Now push these 2 horses down, but Lexitonia is only run run once at this distance, so I'm not too concerned about that. Let's see, hold on. Average equibase, I just want to, let's take these off for a second. And then average form to win. So 0 to 60 was the only horse that was a dual qualifier, which means he was ranked in the top 3 on average form to win time, and also top 3 in average equibase and top 3 in average form to win. And the 5 horse, I believe I did have a mark on. Let's see, for Alstall. Oh, this is a filly by American Pharoah out of the Tail of the Cat Mare Cat Moves. Didn't run a lick last time out at Fairgrounds, but that was a route race going a mile and a 16th. 2 back, he ran on the dirt at Keeneland, didn't run worth much, finished 7th, beaten 12 lengths, but if you go back to his second race, he finished 4th at Kentucky Downs on turf rated good, only beaten a length and a half, and then he broke his maiden at Saratoga, like we said, going 5.5. So, you know, if the horse is ready to run, he fits. I mean, we've only got 1 start, so it's not a huge data set to work with, but interesting. But I would probably key on, I guess you got to use the 7. The 7 doesn't like to win, so if you're playing the multis, I wouldn't probably use him as an A. I do like Lexitonia, though, and I've got to somehow find... I like the 8 a bit, too, but where's... The 8 is ranked 2nd on average equibase, but gets pushed way down on form to win. And so let me look at the 8. Well, yeah, he has only 1 start given those conditions. So I don't know. Maybe a spread race, maybe not. It's going 5.5 furlongs. I probably wouldn't take a short price on anyone. I'd definitely be interested in, though, in the 10. You know, toss the 7 at your peril. You know, horse fits, but 1 for 9. But Wesley's hot right now, and the 5's a little bit interesting. So that's how form to win grades those out, and then we go to the stakes race tomorrow at Keeneland, which is a pretty good race. I mean, it has an overwhelming favorite, I think, in Speech, and this is going a mile and a 16th, 8.5 furlongs on the dirt. We click Analyze, sort it by highest, lowest form to win. You know, fastest time, obviously. Form to win like Speech. Well, kind of a no-brainer there. She'll be a short price favorite. But the horse that I find intriguing is this horse here, Bajan Girl, who's 15 to 1. So here's my angle, and you know there may be no credence to it whatsoever, but there's not a ton of speed in this race. Just looking at it, you know, in the PPs and analyzing the pace. I mean, I know Speech can press, but there's not a ton of speed. And Bonham Girl, she fit on form to win, so I went back and looked. Now, her last race is in the Royal Delta, the Grade 3 at Gulfstream Park, and she finished 3rd, but she was beaten 6 lengths. And you can actually see that here, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. So this race, this was at Gulfstream Park, you know, mile and a 16th. She finished 3rd. Queen Nakia finished 1st. Aries 2, who's also in this race, finished 2nd. Baja Girl finished 3rd. 2 back, she finished 3rd also to Latruska, who's in the running in the Apple Blossom, and she's really improved. She came on late last year, and she's run well this year. She finished 3rd to her. But these are the 2 races that, I mean, this was, you know, these were going a mile. But when I watched the replays, if I was, who's on her tomorrow? Corey Lannery. If I was Lannery, I just send her to the lead. She doesn't look like she is extremely comfortable rating. She looks like she wants to be sent. And in a race where there's not a lot of early heat, I mean, I know Speech can be, can have a pace presence, but she's more kind of like a stalking type. Bonnie South likes to come from out of it. She may actually want more distance. But yeah, Bahan Girls is interesting. I didn't like her until I looked at Form to Win. I was like, you know what? She kind of fits. So let's create a filter. Look at races between 8 and 8.5. I mean, if you wanted to look at races between a mile and a mile and an eighth, you could go 9 furlongs, but I'm only interested in races between 8 and 8.5. Track condition, all dirt. I'm assuming it'll be rated fast. We're not getting any precipitation here in Kentucky, at least until the weekend. So if I hit apply, Bahan Girl still fits, and she's a price. So, I'm not saying that she's going to run a huge race tomorrow, but I'm going to have her involved in some way. I mean, maybe she can she's breaking from the outside. Maybe Lannery could send her, get her on the rail, and try to wire this field. I mean, I know Speech is going to be a huge favorite, but if you're going to try to beat Speech, I mean, your second choice is Royal Flag. Who's going to take money? Get Rosario. I mean, she won a grade 3 last time out in November for Chad Brown. But I don't know. I don't really want to spread in this race, so I wouldn't take, if you're going to spread, I would use the favorite maybe, and then a price horse, and why not? So I like Bonhan Girl a little bit. I will try to get her involved because Form to Win likes her, and she fits. I mean, we've got 5 races here, and she's ranked 2nd on average Form to Win time. But I do notice, watching the replays, she does not switch leads turning for home. She's always on the wrong lead. Now, she still runs fast, so I'm not going to criticize her, but she has yet to switch leads turning for home. So I'm not sure what to make of that. But heck, she fits on figures, so I will try to use her in some capacity, although Speech looks like she may be tough to beat coming off the layoff, but her best race of her career came last year in the Grade 1 Ashland at Keeneland, where I believe she set the track record. So she's a big-time, looming favorite, and the most likely winner of this race, honestly, but I will use Bonhan Girl in some capacity. And then going to the last, well, I'm not sure what we'll talk about this one because this one is a maiden special weight, and we don't have, well, we have a little bit of data to work with. So I will look at this race with just a limited data set. Right away, Form to Win likes the 3 and the 1, which on the morning line looks like are your top 2 choices. This race is going 8 and 8.5. Let's see what these horses have been running at. We're probably going to have horses stretching out. So we have, this horse is going from 5.5 furlongs to a mile and a 16th off a 281-day layoff. Let's see who the trainer is. Dane Kobiski. Don't know too much about him, but sometimes that's going 2 turns for the first time, stretching out from 5.5 off a layoff can be difficult. I mean, not saying it can't be done, but not necessarily I want to take a short price. So we have a lot of these horses this horse is run at 8 furlongs, hasn't done much. 5, 8, 6.5, 8, 8.5. So the 6 horse, who's the favorite, is already proven at the distance. So if I go in here and do a filter, it's probably with the limited data set and a lot of these horses not having run 2 turns yet, we're not going to have much to work with, I'm thinking. All dirt, apply. So we have no data on the 1, 3, 5 at these distances, but we do have data on these horses, and Form to Win likes Happy American, who looks like she's the 2nd or 3rd choice on the morning line. Average Form to Win time, she's ranked number 1. She fits on average Equibase. It was 867 tops on average Equibase, 876. So it pushed the favorite down a little bit. The 6 Scarlet Fusion. So maybe if you're trying to beat the favorite, only use the 8-7. But once again, we don't have a ton of data to work with, but that's just a quick way of looking at the race tomorrow. So we covered that late pick 4. Now tomorrow, if you have the app, we will have Saturday's races. You'll see Saturday's races loaded on here. And you'll be able to dive into the weekend stakes. And then once again, I encourage you to go in and look at the past races and apply your filters and see if you would have found the winner. It's always a good tool to use before you start looking at live races, just so you can figure out if you would have landed on the winner. And primarily look at average form to win time and the average Equibase. But a lot of weight goes here. I really think that's where the value is. But once again, I appreciate your time. Went a little bit longer than I was expecting, but formtowin.com, the app is free to download, and it's actually the way that, like, I'm doing this on my desktop, but the data on the phone or a tablet, it's smooth, the interface is easy to work with, and if you have any feedback or anything I can answer for you, reach out on Twitter or text me or DM me, whatever. We're always looking to feedback, and we'll try to build that stuff in with our next big release. But appreciate your time as always. I will catch you next Thursday, and I hope everyone has a safe and winning weekend. I'll talk to you later.